All right, here we are on the third turn. And what do we get? We gotta look at the stuff we gotta do. Once again, because it's just not in my head completely. So, discard half your cards. See, this is what's hard, especially with the bidding thing. It's hard to determine. I think the Tokugawa just have this benefit, because their cards of equal value are better. That's probably because Tokugawa was a better leader. And it makes sense. But you have to commit something heavier in order to make the decision to try to force them into not controlling the initiative. So here, I've got this nice set of Ukita cards. Not really convinced that I have a particularly powerful position for the Ukita. There's some here, some back here. Some all the way back there. They're not gathered. This makes this not as powerful as it could be. Of course, I can play to try to get them together, to work that clan into a powerful and strong position. Maybe someplace like here, I can move here and I can move up there, whatever. Just, trying to... On the other hand, I could shift one down here and plan on moving the rest forward next turn or whatever. But all that to focus on making these couple of cards do me any good is just such a painful choice. And the randomness of where your other blocks are, the random blocks that you got. So something like this guy down here, he's in a stupid place. He's not helping me. And that happened right from the very beginning of the game. You won't see that later because you get the mustering and anything. Usugi, useful, maybe. There's some over there. This Kobayakawa. I think I've lost a lot of them. Their force seems to have been diminished over here. I'm not sure where the fuck this thing is. That was revealed and not killed. I'm guessing it could have retreated there. It's kind of a lost piece. I think I just forgot to retreat it, and that's not an unreasonable place for me to retreat, especially since I have support there. The Moris, kind of spread out, not in the best of places. I got to drop 3, 6, 7, 3 of these cards. I think the Ukita is too much work. I'll throw these 3 cards. Now, I'll figure the draws out in a moment. I do the same over here, that same kind of thinking. What do I not want? What do I want? I have a huge Maida hand and a Fukushima hand. Let's see what my clan's like. And this is another thing. These decisions become easier as you start losing blocks and not having that force available anymore. What I don't know at this point is what these blocks are, right? Because the order of the reinforcements is cards and then blocks. So I got to work with what I've got on the board right now. And these actually, I ended up throwing that, didn't I? Or no, I'm planning on playing this, possibly one of these two as my initiative card, hold the Moris. But who knows? Because I get a handful of cards, I'll probably find some garbage in there. And of course, that garbage, though, includes whatever cards I want to play as my movement card. Anyway, I'm not going to second guess the choices I made there. Fukushima. I don't have much. So they're kind of shitty, but some valuable cards, man. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7. I also have to throw 3. I don't want to throw this one. 1. I don't want to throw this one. How are my Maida? I do have horses and guns, but not a whole lot of them there. I've got more spread out back here. Kick it around if we can see around the fucking blocks. Yeah, if I haven't made it clear, I don't like blocks. These I'm keeping. This I'm throwing. I need to kill 2 more of these Maidas. There is no reason to hold this as compared to these. That's 2. I've got to throw another Maida. The double Maida looks the more valuable probably because it's almost a double card. So I'll throw these 3. Now we get the picks of cards. Not going to make any decisions at this point because everything's kind of random here. Who has the most castles? Unfortunately, there's not an easy way to determine that. And they've changed hands. I've got 1, 2, 3 for the Ishida. Definitely. And I mark them like this. I don't see others around. For the Tokugawa, I still have this because this isn't occupied. 1, 2. I don't know. There's one hiding up here. 3. This one 4. And I think there might be another one. Wait, there's this though. I hold this one. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Ishida. And I'm at, and why am I keeping a count? Because the counting process, even though it's just find them on the board, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I've beaten them out. So he's going to get a 6th card, 5 there. Now that's, my hand is getting bigger and bigger each time. I've got like 9 cards here. And 10 here. And then for blocks, it's going to be the black square, the little squares. These I can look at what's left. And that tells me that the Tokugawa get an extra reinforcement block. This turn, it's 2 each. They'll get 3. To the contemplate the cards again. So many times it's being brought to this. What do I have in my hand? You know, what can I actually utilize? This isn't bad for defense there. These things, not bad for defense there. Do I want to go second? Because I don't feel like going first is terribly useful. Or do I need more cards? You know, more powerful cards. This is the most expensive card I have. Most of these others are 1s. How are my Mori? I look around at my Mori. I'm not seeing any special Mori. So this is what I'm going to play. But let's ignore that here. let's make the same thoughts here. What can we get rid of? What can we not get rid of? Because I have so many more. I probably have too many, actually. And then we deal these out again. We got another loyalty card. By the way, the Tokugawa have an extra loyalty challenge in their deck. Now, they've been getting them and these guys haven't. So, I don't know. And again, I think about, hey, what are my fucking cards worth, in comparison to what my blocks are worth? I like the Maeda. Fukushima, I think I've largely decided that those are wiped out. Those are little triangle things. I've got one here with a cav, okay. It don't look like I have many more. They're definitely something worth throwing off. The Date are busy. Tokugawa are busy. These are useful cards. Maeda, I decided, are busy. Loyalties are busy. It's the Fukushima that I can justify throwing. And the question is, how big a card do I want to throw? I'm going to roll odd even because I'm affected by what's there. I think I beat them with either one. But we're going to dump this. So we get a 4, and they get a 3, which means we're going to force the Ishida to go first again. Because that's worked so far. Going second has been a powerful advantage. I don't think there's anything where I'm like, oh, we're going to get swamped and we could fix that very easily type of situation. One thing we haven't seen is a lot of mustering going on. That first turn, the Ishida did some mustering. I think that makes sense because those first turn cards were pretty hellish on both sides, to be honest. All right, I'm going to go down and read and maybe snooze for a while because concentrating on this, which cards can I afford to play and whatever, so much is really, really expensive for me. Mentally, but almost even emotionally, to tell you the truth. That's what, I don't know if it's analysis paralysis. That's what the, what hit me all the time on any decisions. And it's something kind of frustrating on game decisions when I'm in a kind of a blind spot where I feel like it's important to make a correct choice and whatever. And it is sort of that kind of, there's almost a panic behind it and everything. Sometimes people talk about analysis paralysis as the people who are trying to win too hard, who can calculate everything out. And yeah, there's some of that in there for me. If I feel like I can't calculate it, it doesn't hurt that much. Anyway, what was kind of interesting is one of the people in my recent gaming group, she's recently got diagnosed as autistic, and she's like 50, right? I kind of pointed out to her that I thought that she showed significant autistic signs. That may be one of my little things that I do, right? Because as being someone who, is kind of versed with it and used to dealing with it on my own and whatever, sometimes I try to find some kind of, connection in that sort of way. And I don't know, she wasn't entirely like aghast by it, right? Like the way my father was when I kind of pointed out his traits. But I noticed this extreme sort of, again, I'm not sure if it's analysis paralysis, almost a set of panic coming in, and the autistic meltdown and all that over not being able to make a good decision, not being able to understand what decision she should make. And yeah, I feel a lot of that, even though this is more my comfort zone than it was hers. And it's Yeah. It's interesting to see and to compare, because there's one view of analysis paralysis that it's someone who's just kind of selfishly taking up as much time as they need to really calculate everything out. And my feeling with that is, fuck, fine. You know, I had a friend who used to do that all the time, and it would suck. It would make games take longer, but he was good at them because of it. And to me, that made him, a better opponent. Someone I would rather face, and I was never unhappy with playing with him for that, right? At least not too unhappy, let's say. There's another which is more like what I have, which is this: I'm worrying around in circles and can't come to an answer, and not successfully calculating. And then I do sometimes have that, I'm pretty sure I could calculate all of this. The only time it ever hits that it goes into that analysis paralysis, though, where I really take a long time, is that it starts worrying in circles. Even if I think I could calculate it all, I might not be able to. It might be just beyond the edge of what I can do mentally, by holding all the balls in the air or whatever. That I don't terribly feel here. Here I feel more the, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I feel like that was maybe mostly bad hands at the beginning of the game, although you have less cards, so you're more likely to have a bad hand. It seems like as the decks are growing, I'm able to find matches and able to do things. But I do feel that the matching of my cards that I draw or whatever to my position on the board feels way more random than most war games do. Am I wrong with that? I don't know. But that's kind of how I feel, is that, yeah, I could blow away, a whole turn or whatever because I just don't have the matches that I need. I could try to arrange for them, but trying to arrange for them is going to cost me resources too, and time and whatever, and I might be better off just trying to work something out. Now, if you have a shitty hand, but how do you detect that you have that, on the first play, when you're first looking at your hand, it might be worth do nothing, throw all your cards and get a new hand of cards for that second action, hope for the best or whatever. But it felt like I had kind of an average hand, what one would expect. But the more you play, the more you're able to consolidate the cards that you need and whatnot. So I'm beginning to get, I think, a feel for how to play the game. It's not helping me in terms of grounding the game in any kind of reality, though. That's something that comes much later from figure out how to play it, which is exactly the opposite of what I like in a game. What I like in a game is I walk into it and I say, you know what? I know what the reality is here. Let's hope the game mirrors that well enough that I can operate within those strictures. I got a stronger force. I'll push it forward and attack. Oh, I forgot to count the odds exactly and I missed by 1 strength point. Well, that's not really very realistic, but now I know, and now I learned that, right? As opposed to here where I'm just unable to use intuition or anything as even a guide to help drive my play and help me figure out, even if they're bad moves under the game, those end up maybe being flaws in the game rather than, or in the mechanisms of design. But that's not the case here. Here, for me to start to get that intuitive feel, I have to really kind of understand the gameplay a lot better. And by gameplay, I don't just mean the rules. Those I feel like I have some handle on. I feel more about understanding the strategy of the game, to start beginning to try to figure out how that actually links to the reality. And that's troubling to me. It's not the way I learn. I'm trying to spare you guys my agony of indecisions, right? And decided there's a couple of units I could move. I could start moving the Mori forward into here. I don't really want to force march. Reasons for that, I don't know. I looked at these guys. I've got a good attack on here, but here's a problem that I had. So I want to fight there too. That would mean no growth if I do that. And I don't know if attacking this is all that terribly valuable. But again, and I wish there were markers for the castles as well as for the resource centers. Because I have to recount the castles. How close am I? I don't remember. I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe not for long. Facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, unless there's one hidden somewhere behind fucking blocks. So I think I'm going to burn a Mori card because I have a lot of them. And I'm going to take at least 2 moves. One of them down to here to grab this resource space. One of them here. And now the next question is, do I move or do I build? And where do I move? Because I've now left Kyoto open. And I might be using both of these. Unfortunately for me. Just fuck. You know? I think it's important for me to build up. If Kyoto gets taken, maybe I can beat them back. I don't know. So I am going to, although it's not what I want, but the only thing I can build is these guys. So I'm going to build one of those as my muster. It's kind of funny. They're different color. These are kind of bright yellow. These are kind of more golden. Nothing like that on the black side. And that means I have 2 battles. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the battles. I guess. I don't know. I want to do this one first. And I have to keep track of where they came from. That's not terribly easy to do. I can, align along the road that they're approaching or whatever. But it's a hard piece of information because the enemy can't retreat in that direction. I'm going to fight it out because I think it's of interest, actually. So I played a new Kita, got myself 2. That sets me up to trigger them again, and the sword there. Here, he's decided to defend. He's not going to throw a challenge on this. Instead, he's going to play one of these because it's not terribly useful for that. Yes, it's a Sekigahara. And play that. That's going to generate 3 points. Putting him in the lead. Still no treachery or whatever you want to call it. At this point, I put this in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to gain. That'll put him up to 8. And kill the black unit no matter what, which is of some importance. But I'm going to loyalty that. And he doesn't have any more of these. So that 5 does not happen. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, that puts him at 3. I don't think that's right. I was at 2 before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have been at 7. Okay. But since he doesn't have anything to counter it, this card, it's still played by him, but this goes over to here. He doesn't match anything, so it goes to 2. The attacker's unable to do a damn thing. The defender doesn't have any more blocks, so he can't do anything. So it's 1 hit on these, which will be this block. And we have to retreat back to where we came from. And now we do a replenishment. It was just a 1 block loss, so everybody's just getting their 2 cards back. Battle. And it's too hard to remember this. I keep fucking playing this guy. piece of crud. Tobacco, probably. He generates, I guess, one. I think that's what this does. But there's a danger to this, which is that I'm leading with one of my pieces that will lose me the game if I lose it. That makes this battle all or nothing. As soon as I kind of show that. With a loyalty marker, I feel like I can challenge that. I've got a Fukushima. It doesn't have a sword. That's a shame, because that would be worth 3 points if I did that. Maeda's, Date's, Tokugawa are all important to me, right? So there's not really... The Fukushima is the card that maybe I want to play. So I'm going to drop this and put a 4 here. Now, he could loyalty me, but I can guarantee that I win that. Which means it's time to play... Well, I'm going to play the double card because that gets me everything into play. And I'll do 3 first, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. That puts me up to a 9. Yeah, maybe. He's going to loyalty that. That would cancel, except I have another one. So that 9 sticks. That puts me over here. I could play the Fukushima card. That would add 1. That doesn't help me. So I'm going to pass. He doesn't have anything else to play. So a key piece gets killed. I actually kill 2. Both of these get killed. Both of them are starting pieces. So they go in there. No. Starting pieces don't go in there. Starting pieces go in the bag that I haven't yet assigned for that, but that's okay. I'm kind of curious whether this bag's big enough is kind of the thing. So we had a victory there. 2 black pieces were lost. So he gets 3 cards back. One for the loss. And here, all we get is the cards back. We're not going to worry about what he's got in hand, because we're now over on the Tokugawa side. And I find my die, distribute my cards. Oh, look, it's a lot of Fukushimas. I just lost, I think, the rest of my Fukushimas. That makes these cards, you know, things that I can spend for usage. 2 cards would let me move everything, if I so desire, which maybe, maybe not. What happened here? I think I lost this fight. Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a dot there. I didn't expect one to be there because, I don't know. And it's just, the map, so the size of the blocks and the size of the spaces on the map is just such that, like, yeah, there's these huge empty spaces that nothing's going on, and then places where, like, you know, the blocks are just too big for the crowdedness of what's going on. I find the mechanical aspects of this game, the actual presentation, to be very problematic. Not just in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. All right, let me think about what I want to do, because it's going to take me a while. Myself out of most of what I might need to move. I might want to make this attack here. Okay, fine. Actually, I don't, because I only have 2 dates. I could only put 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I can kill something. Yeah, I probably want to do that. I was thinking about moving this, playing a card, maybe moving something else, like to here. But this is the main attack I want to make. Consolidate my forces in this rear area, get control of it, whatever. Another fortress, okay. So I don't need a card to do that. I have a leader here. This is my main leader. Don't want to lose him, which is a reason not to do it. But I'll move up there, and we'll get a fight there. And that means no mustering. Sucks. It's hard, like, to make a decision of what to do, but playing a card to get a single muster seems pretty pointless. That's essentially what you do with the Mori, and it's a hard payoff, and it's one of the reasons I don't feel like I did well with these guys. Which battle do I want to do first? I don't have any treachery or loyalty anymore. This one's more important, I guess, but I don't know if that means I want to go first or not, because I don't know what he has. I don't know, if what I have is enough, but we'll open up with this. He's got to fight in the field because he has too many units otherwise. So I will play this is my main daimyo for a point. Let's see what he's got. He's got a new, he's got a hand that's not quite what it was before. Oh, fuck, he's got a lot of Mori. Oh. Well, I've got a Mori. That can do me something. One of these without a sword doesn't do me much. Like, I can put about 4 points in play. If I pass now, he can beat me up and kill some of my units. He'll kill some of my units if I keep fighting, though. The question is, what can I do to fight him? And I'm looking at like 3, 4, 5. I don't think it's worth fighting. I'm going to just pass and hold my cards. Call that potentially a loss. Well, now Tokugawa's question is, does he want to throw cards, which will get replaced, to do anything? I've already got one. I've got a couple of dates, but I don't want to play them. They're going to be necessary for that fight. And everything else is Tokugawa. If I play another Tokugawa, I can get a 3 in there. That'll bring me to 4 more. So that brings me up to 5. If I bring another one in, it adds 3, 6, 7. 5 and 7 is 12. I'd kill a unit. I think it's worth it. So I put one down. There's the 4 additional. That's still not killing anything. No reason to play loyalty. Probably no reason to play it anyway. I play the other one. That brings this into play. That adds another 3, 6, 7 to 12. I'm out of Moris. I could play a date, but that's not going to add much. I would need 2 more to get 2 kills. He's not going to play loyalty on this. It doesn't help him particularly. Which means that yellow is going to lose 2 pieces. Now, because I didn't commit anything, I get to choose what I want to kill. And I get to hold this fort with the rest. I don't know that it really matters. Like, I'm really unlikely to gather the forces here. So I'll take 2, retreat into the fort. These 2 don't have markings, so they go in the box, eventually into the bag. Could have retreated, don't want to. I don't believe I get to conduct a siege right away because there was a battle. I lost 2 pieces. That gets me a card back. I'll leave that like that. I'm not too worried about what I might know. Here, I get 2 cards, and I think I want to conduct the siege. This is backwards. I get a couple of Maidas. Not what I wanted. I wanted a Date. Oh well. I'm going to conduct the siege because I can open up with this. That's a 1. He doesn't get the counter. Assuming he doesn't want to fight. And he doesn't want to fight. He does not have the cards to fight. That adds 4 more. Brings me to 5. Another Date. Adds 5, 6 more. That brings me to 11. I get to kill one of these. And this is another one of those. This was a loss in a fort. So I get, oh, I forgot. I don't think it'll make a difference. It was indeed one of these, but 3 points wasn't going to help. Like, I know he's killed, oh, I couldn't, yeah, it was whether I wanted to come out. So I get another one of these for losing a unit. And Tokugawa gets 2, because that's what he spent. I shouldn't be looking at him because I don't want to know, to tell you the truth. That moves us down to the B turn. I put this over here to remind me. And it'll be his turn, so I'll just leave him face up. But I'm not capable of facing it again. Yeah, I got some laundry going. You're in the dryer now. Tried reading a little bit. I've had a lot of trouble. Like, I don't know, reading's not feeling all that great, but being on the computer wasn't either. I kind of, you know, that cough I have or whatever, I kind of have a little bit of a cold, I think. I got some sniffles, a little bit of a sore throat, all kind of stuff going on. It's not too bad. I was debating whether I go dancing tomorrow or not anyway. That's why I've got laundry going, is because I'm planning on dancing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do, to tell you the truth. Anyway, that's another phase. All right, for the Ishida, I have serious worries about being way up here with this. I feel like I have to move to try to cover that. I'm going to drop a Mori card because I have too goddamn many of them anyway. And trigger, I think, these 2, and I guess a build. So this goes with leadership, which I would get anyway from the castle. Highway, if I go that way. And the base move. So I get 3 moves. I'm going to leave this behind and move 1, 2. This would block off the flowers from both of those. That might be cool. Or maybe go take the castle. Prevent this from running up there. Although, with its location, unless it's a leader, it would be expensive to get there and kind of risky. I think it's, I don't like being here, but I can't risk Osaka falling. I'll push these forward, and I'll take a muster of that, which puts me in a position that unless I had a bunch of these Usagis, I don't really see an attack being viable. So I'll put my cards back, hope for the best. Bunch of cards from Fukushima, which are useless to me. There's only those 2 there, I think, of it. And I don't even have more growing. What I want to do, I also have a bunch of these Maida. I want to pull the Maida down here and attack those blocks. Feels like that opens me up to either going after his leader, which I know is there, or going after the heir, either of which wins me the game. So I can kind of trap the Ishida where they are. I don't think I want to play a card to move anything else. This is under siege, this is under siege, and either one am I able to take. And I'm trying to look to see, do I have something else I might want to move? This, where does he come in? He comes in over here, which, you know, I might want to get there eventually. Could move here. That would give me 2 moves. Then I could get a muster, which I could definitely use. I got a lot of stuff here that I'm not bringing into play. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to bring more troops in at the cost of a card, especially since the Fukushima seem pretty useless. Let's fire them off. And I'll move here. I actually have enough movement. There's a leadership there so that I can move all 5. Do I want to move all 5? Fuck. Stupid fucking blocks. Yeah, because I'm guarding the entry there, sort of, kind of, a little bit. And it is just a resource. What was my second move going to be in that case? This guy is doing something useful. This guy kind of isn't. He only can move 1 space. We'll do that, I guess. And then we have a battle to undertake. All right, let's start that battle. We commit a flower leader. I gotta set these up, see what he wants to fight, if at all. I'm hoping I have some of this. Something of a fighting capability, so I'll match there. We go over here to the flowers. I have 1 with a gun. You have something here that I don't know what the fuck these are. I can't read these. Is this a Tokugawa? No, I think it's a Date. Do I want to drop my sword for... See, this gets to drop 2. That's a powerful card, though. I don't know which way to go, whether we go with this or that. I'm going to roll. Okay, I'm going to play the Fukushima card, and that'll put 4 more. Going kind of big here. And then 2, 5, 6 more. Puts me all the way out here. 4 and 6 is 10. We're going to loyalty that. And we have another Fukushima to prevent that from going disloyal. So the points stay. And that means he has a shit ton he has to make up. With his leader already on the line. What do I have? This would be worth 3. This would be worth 3. That's 6 more. And another 3 for this. And they're not going to add up. So I can put 9 more. I could get up to 10, but I can't win. And I think that means I actually don't want to fight any further. That puts us to him. Now, he's going to be causing 2 hits. If he could get 3 more, he could cause a 3rd hit. Wait, what? What's this Fukushima I threw? That's not allowable. What the fuck? We did this. These are Maida. I'm not sure I wanted to do this, but okay. Whatever. I got confused because I have all these Fukushima cards. But this would allow me to do the same thing. I have the capability to add another 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with the sword. 9 more would put me up to 20, which is pretty good. I could throw a regular one, and that would put 7 more, which I think does just as well for me. Do I want to kill more units? Or am I going to just settle for my victory, killing 2 units? Again, I can't really come up with a good idea either way. I don't know what his blocks are. I'm going to go for killing more units, which, you know, this eats into the power of the Maida cards, but I get cards back, and I think these guys are going to kind of stand there, and then I can start moving other stuff forward. So I didn't have to do the sword for the sword, which means 4, 5, 6, 7 more. Puts me up to 18. The sword would just put me to 20. I don't have another point. So I'm going to do 3 hits. That kills this. And now he can take 2 others. And he has to look at his pieces and say, hey, what do I want to lose? I got the Asagi sword. I got the Mori sword. I got the 2-point Ukita. Well, what do I want to save is really the question. I think I'll save the Mori unit. It's 2 in there, 1 there. I lost 2 units. That's going to give me a card back. And I played a card. So I will be getting 2 cards back. I've got to withdraw from this space. Given that this is Mori, I'm going to fall back on Kyoto. That's close to this. Maybe I can synergize there. These come like this. They took no losses. I get 3 cards back. And that's turn. Put me up here. And we're going to break for a bit. The kind of figuring that I'm making on this is just, you know, fuck. So painful to me. And then even then, I find myself having to roll dice because not sure, you know, oh, maybe I want to save this instead to keep it with that. Let's do that instead. Okay. And, you know, it's just a painful, painful process solo. But I got to tell you, even if I was playing this opposed, I would be left with almost the same kind of, I don't know whether I should do this or not kind of feeling. Would I roll a die? Probably not. But there's enough uncertainty that it might be the appropriate, you know, it might be as appropriate as anything. I forgot to do something, didn't I? I moved 2 of the Tokugawa units. I got a muster as well. Let me get that because I'm just not used to what I'm doing. I don't particularly want flowers. This thing could conceivably reinforce up to there with one of these. This, way back. I guess I'll put this in play. I think I only moved two stacks with the intention of building another unit and forgot about it. That's what we'll go with. I ended up reading and mainly sleeping through the night, something that's very odd for me to do. And on the worst of possible days, it's Friday. However, I had debates whether or not I wanted to go dancing at all today. So I don't know what's going to happen. See, I was really not inclined to go because it's Halloween. But they're starting early. And that makes things more interesting in sort of weird kind of ways, but maybe less so for me. I don't know. I don't want to deal with the crowding, though, that is likely to be there. All right, so I don't remember the order of what needs to be done. We discard first, then we get our draw extra card for castles. Okay, you know. Come to video because I have to keep looking it up. And yeah, my cough is not good either, which is a good reason maybe not to go. A good thing so far to have a lot of one clan. And this is a clan that, you know, I've got some commitment with. I feel like I'm overrepresented in the Mori. I definitely want these. Ukita, I don't know. I mean, how likely am I going to get pushed anywhere important? I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's got a sword, but I don't need a sword for them. So fuck them, you know, but that's a card that might support that. But I'm pretty sure I'm not that worried about my Asigi. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got to get rid of 4. I want to keep at least that much, just in case I don't draw any. It's sort of, you know, the hands are getting bigger. And that's a neat feature, but it isn't clear, you know, from the rules itself that that's going to be what happens. And here, I have trouble with these guys because they have a lot of circles. Tokugawa is of some value to me. Definitely the Maeda are of value. Fukushima, not a lot of them on the board. Nothing here to recruit with, so they're my bad guys. I've got 9 again. We're going to throw 3 Fukushima, and then it gets hard. Then it gets hard. I feel like the Tokugawa is safer. So even if they're a useful thing, I want them there. And now we're looking at 5 cards each, but who has the most castles? And again, I have to do this hunt and peck count for castles, which really fucking sucks. The cubes give me a nice little representation, even if I can't see all the red dots on the board, you know, because there's fucking blocks. And the design of this game is not good. It's made for appearance rather than functionality, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, blocks can be useful for certain things, but whatever. But castles, there really needs to be something, and what would probably be best, same with the little blocks, for resources, would be something you remove when the castle's taken that you hold on your own. I would say the same, instead of blocks on the board, which get hidden, like the little cubes get hidden behind the blocks, right? The choice to use blocks means that what's on the board can't really be observed very well, which means withdrawing things would be better than adding things. But with the castles, you got neither, so you got to count each fucking time. And if you're like me and you can't remember where these fucking little, largely unimportant things are, it can be kind of hard. So we're looking at 1, 2, there's a third one hiding here, a fourth one here. Maybe that's all that I've got. Maybe not. I don't know. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've got to have at least another one here. So black gets the castle bonus. Bonus a lot easier to see. I got 2 of these, and then I just compare who has the least blocks. Of course, if I lose not blocks, cubes, whatever the fuck. If there is a lost cube or something like that, which you don't notice, that could get you in trouble, but fuck it. This space still not taken by anyone. Interesting. I want to blow the castle out of the way, but it's hard. It's hard to get anything done. That's going to put me on the turn order. And again, I make this kind of assessment as to how important it is. I still think going last is more valuable. But you know, there's these guys and they're kind of at risk. Oh, I have an interesting mix. Now, my one Fukushima piece has a sword. I'm looking at the Fukushimas as not being terribly valuable to me at this point. Although, where do they fucking come in? They come in here, which is why I'm heading up that way. I'm going to choose one of the 2 Fukushimas. I don't know which one because I don't know how much I care about going first, which is why I roll. Like, if I knew it wasn't important, that would be fine. And that guarantees me the win because he threw a piece of shit card. But now, do I want to go first or second? Because I know what's here. Do I think I can win that? I've got a lot of Mori, and I think I could win the game automatically. I'm going to actually roll the die for this too, as to whether or not I'm going to press against this and try to go first. I have chosen not to. I'm going to, and I think that's a wrong choice, but I'm going to give the initiative, as it were, over to the Ishida. And I feel like, you know, I feel like I'm in the lead in either direction. I've got more production, more capabilities, more forces on the board. I've killed a lot more of the Ishida than I've lost. So the long game is perfectly safe for me. I don't feel the need to go for that short game. The only real reason I want to go for the short game is to get this over with, which isn't really fair in terms of, like, you know, how I can assess the game or whatever. But I'm not really enjoying the way the mechanisms interact in this all that much. I'm better than I was in the sense that now I have, you know, the cards that I can look at and make what I consider those sort of easy optimization choices, which is, all right, this is what my option is because this is what I've got cards for. But it's still not, you know. And maybe it would be more exciting opposed. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't feel like it really would. The part is, I don't have an easy way to get him out because I got blocked off. I could try running down this way. There's not a castle that way, at least. Although there's one here. But I would just capture that if I move in. So, I could move, I have leadership, 2 spaces. I could go a 3rd space to here. That would use up some of my battle capability that I might need against those flowers, though. These guys could go a grand 2 spaces as well in that direction. That direction is horrible. This direction's a little better. I could go 3 spaces, which would take me to here. I could actually consolidate with that. And I don't know what to do with my other piece. I could try to cover Kyoto, I guess, by moving to here. Although I have nothing of his. He is not a force that I can operate with. I could recruit. Again, gotta look, our block's hiding my recruiting stuff. I don't know. Anyhow, we shall see. Cards that I discard for movement, and I discarded one to do that double move in a recruit. I could force march to get this guy here. I don't want to do that. I feel like I have quite a bit of power there already, if need be. But seeing these cards go by might not be the best thing. Oh, I shouldn't be flipping these over. Like, if my opponent sees that I've used up some of those cards, that might not be great. And I'm going to actually have to use up one of those cards. Keeping the swords, I don't know why. But that gets me to 3. Yeah, I'm not in the castle. I'm over in this dot. These fucking blocks. All I have to say. They are, I think, the worst element of all of this. All right, so we are looking at, I think that's a date. No, it's a Tokugawa. A Tokugawa with a sword could match what he's got and force him to play another. He's already revealed what he's got there. I'm going to do that. A Tokugawa with a sword matches him. Now I could loyalty that. Don't want to do that. I want to win though. So I throw another one of these. And get another 6. That puts me up to 9. Since his block was already revealed somewhere back there. And we're in this space. We're not over here. We're just trying to do what we can do. That's going to kill this piece. This is one of those. It's going to take this cube, which probably doesn't matter because we don't have a lot of cubes. Nobody gets extra cards. They just get to replenish. Carefully watch that this didn't combine or anything like that. They've also abandoned their castle, which is an issue. I have this force. Now, it has leadership down there, which means I'd be able to go 2, but it's a size 5 force, so it wouldn't be able to keep going 2 if I leave the highway. Oh wait, no. Right. Which is what I need to do. If I only take part of the force, that's good enough. And that's the first thing. Do I feel confident enough? Now, given that I drew a loyalty card, I do. So I am going to be moving this into there. I have to leave the date unit behind, which means I would have liked to have left it here so I get the castle, but fuck. I'm going for the win here. I have potential fights along these other things if the cards are appropriate. I think I'm just not going to spend a card. I'm only going to move, which means I come down 1, 2. I can bypass the castle. That's no big deal. And this is potentially a fight for the win. Now, this is a piece with a little block, with a little square on the block, or a block on the square or something, I don't know. Which means that he can be activated with any kind of card. But I'm in the fight of my life here, essentially. A victory would be a big deal because being able to beat the flowers would be huge. So the flowers are going to open up with a 1-point jump. I gotta get these out. Got a bunch of cards that aren't able to help me. This one, which is loyalties, which aren't. I did not get a great draw, but I got a bunch of loyalties. I need to play my dude because I'm not going to have a lot of card. Well, you could actually play him for something else. That brings me back over here again. Loyalty's not available for that. I've got things I can't see because of fucking blocks. I want to get 3 flowers in play without a dagger because I know this is for the win. So there's 3, make it 4. That brings me to 5. That brings it to this guy. Now, do I want to loyalty this? Look, he went in. He must have more. I'm only going to loyalty on like a 1. Okay. So I'm not loyaltying yet. I still have cards I can play. But not as many as I need to. Because I'm down to this only. I'm fucked. That's going to give me 3. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I'm fucked if I don't play the loyalty. Loyalty it is then on that 3-point card. And he throws another Maeda card to prevent that loyalty from happening. I know I've lost the game if he takes any more, if I take any more losses. I could throw this piece in. I would get 3 more things, but I don't want to do that because it doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't get me in the lead, and I cannot get in the lead. And I must take my first loss on this because I committed him. So even if he doesn't have enough to do 3, he won the game because I committed that. That was a boo-boo. Okay. So I'm going to pass. And it's at his, the Tokugawa's turn. Well, I'll kill this no matter what, honestly. So the game is actually over. Yeah, I think I have to play one of these. Because that puts another piece up that I could lose. Yeah. Okay. So now I could kill this without adding anything additional. I do have some additional pieces. I have a 2 and a 1. I want to make sure I get 2 hits, if that's the case. So I'll play this one. And that'll be 5, 6. I don't have an easy way to match, to mark that 6 is what I get. He's going to loyalty again. I once again cancel that loyalty, so the 6 points comes over. That brings me to 11. Now, he did play last time, so he would get to play again, but he doesn't have anything. And that means I can't commit this block. And that means the 2 losses are going to come on this one, so that's the end of the game. I knew it was a risky move to put this guy out in front. And I certainly was not gaining, I wasn't making the kind of gains that I wanted from doing that. But it's hard not to. He was my only, leader, and leaders are useful. He's less useful than most, so I should not have committed him at all. It was a dumb move. Sue me. Anyway, that's the end of the game anyhow, even though the Tokugawa kind of played, I don't want to just chase that down. When they saw the opportunity still there after the bid, after bidding was completed, and they gave whoever, Ishida, the right to move next, or to move first, it still was, you got to go for the win. He had a handful of Maeda cards and whatnot, so it was really unlikely he wasn't going to get the win as far as he was concerned. Another possibility would have been to throw another card to force march into here. Would that have helped? Maybe. It was a really dumb idea to commit this guy to the battle. That's not clear. You know, that feels sort of the opposite of what I want to do, right? Like, I want to get the most force possible and win the battle. Yeah, but you don't commit somebody and he can't get hurt as easily. It would take a lot of firepower to beat him up. On the other hand, it does prevent a long, drawn-out game where this guy's just running away like some Persian king or something to try to, save the empire, and ends up, just delaying the inevitable, as it were. So I don't know. I did have 2 loyalty cards. That could have turned things around. Problem with it is it's all one clan coming in here with the cards to back it up. Cards to back it up for loyalty and everything. He was in a very good position. Could I have known that? No, not really. Not really. I wasn't in that bad a position. Although attacking this might have been a bit of a mistake. In terms of earlier stuff, look, those first hands that I had were so terrible in terms of actually directing my movement. I should have focused on building, which Sekigahara kind of did, and I don't know what else, but I'm still at kind of, so my fear about this game didn't come true. My fear was always this was going to be very much a predetermined type situation, that you could, I don't know how to put it, but that you could basically, that your choices, your picks as to what you're doing pretty much forced a luckless combat system. There is a fair amount of luck in this game. It just doesn't come down to at the moment of combat, which it's kind of weird. It's like the luck is just in the wrong place. Combat seems like the most stressful and uncertain of situations, whereas here it's actually during the operations and whatnot, like that your luck becomes apparent. And then you have to, when the combat actually comes, you probably have a pretty good idea of whether you're going to win the fight or not. But in terms of what you're going to be able to do in a particular turn, where you're going to focus your energies, that's what's going to be based on the cards. And that feels like it's inverting things. I don't know. Anyway, let me send this up.